were and are actually praying for the death of their significant other. And that is true, because the way the Jehovah's Witnesses think is that anyone who is not a Jehovah's Witness will be destroyed when Armageddon comes. So if you are a Jehovah's Witness and your mate is not, and you're praying for Armageddon to come, you are in fact praying for the death of your significant other. And I know this for a fact. And not just significant others, Jehovah's Witnesses in general do that. One example, I remember when I was still in the organization, I was at a Watchtower meeting. Actually, it was a book study, and we were in the back of the Kingdom Hall, and it was on a Sunday. And was it? No, it was actually a Monday night, and the Titans were playing. And traffic getting there was really bad because, of course, game day traffic is always bad. And I remember one of the men in the organization saying, yeah, it was hard getting here because everybody's over there at that Titans game. I just can't wait till Jehovah just destroys them all. And I was thinking, you do realize that most of the people in the town are at that game. So if that happens, you're not going to have nobody to preach to or whatever. The fact of the matter remains that Jehovah's Witnesses will try to tell you that they don't say that and that they don't believe that, but it is not the case. They actually do believe that if you are not a Jehovah's Witness, you will be destroyed at the end of time when Armageddon comes. If it was not the case, then what would be the importance of becoming a Jehovah's Witness? If you not being a Jehovah's Witness, or if you decided not to be a Jehovah's Witness, and the end came, if being a Jehovah's Witness didn't matter, then you would be okay. So obviously, the reason they're recruiting people is because they believe that if you are not a Jehovah's Witness, then you will be destroyed when Armageddon comes. That's the whole hook in getting someone to come into the organization, so that they won't be destroyed. So if they are telling you that they don't believe that, they're being disingenuous, and they're being disingenuous because they are actually being told things in a way to obfuscate the truth by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and the governing body actually believe that if you are not one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you will be destroyed when Armageddon comes. That's facts. That's facts. Let's go to the next clip.
I've talked to a lot of couples. That's a steep hill to climb if you got one praying for the other's death.
Yeah. I obviously don't want that to my wife, obviously, especially mother of my children. I feel that there is still time between now and the conclusion of the system of things. However, I also feel that God is a just God, and that you know, he reads people's heart conditions and not based on what they actually do in life. So I believe that there's still some hope for my wife.
Okay. Now, what this guy just said is a complete Jehovah's Witness response. It is exactly what I would expect to hear from a Jehovah's Witness, one. And two, exactly what I would want to hear from a Jehovah's Witness that was having to explain himself on national television. So this is a Jehovah's Witness response. This is a genuine Jehovah's Witness response, especially when you hear terms like system of things and time of the end and things like that. Those are standard Jehovah's Witness phrases. So this is, in my opinion, a genuine Jehovah's Witness response. Let's just look at what his wife says. And when I say it's a genuine Jehovah's Witness response, I don't mean it's an honest Jehovah's Witness response. I mean it is a genuine Jehovah's Witness response in this circumstance. But let's look at what his wife says.
But
that's totally not in harmony with what the organization teaches. You know that, right?
I understand what the organization teaches me.
So now you're thinking outside of the organization. You know what that's called, right?
I'm based my thinking not solely on what the organization, but what I've been.
So now you've got independent thinking. You know that that's not allowed.
Okay, Dr. Phil.
Okay, now what this woman said is exactly right. You cannot go into the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses or the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and tell them, I realize what you guys teach, but I'm going to base my final thoughts on what I believe and the conclusions that I come to. You cannot do that and still be in good standing with the congregation. Like she said, they discourage independent thinking. You have to go along with what they say to the letter, or there is going to be a problem. You will end up being in what we used to call the little room, or some people call it the back room, but it's always some small room in the back with no windows, and people see you going in there, and they are like, oh no, brother such and such is in a little room. Something must have happened. I wonder what he did. So what this woman said is exactly spot on right. She is correct, and he knows that he cannot be a good Jehovah's Witness in good standing with that attitude. Let's continue.
No, don't give her that moniker, because I'm not passing judgment on anything. I'm the least judgmental person you'll ever meet. Trust me.
Now let's continue to watch so we can see Dr. Phil make this a big lie. That's all he does is judges people. So watch. Let's continue to watch. He's gonna make that statement a huge lie in a few minutes. Let's just watch.
It's a hard situation.
Well, I made a list of all the reasons you said that you left. That first one was top of your list, changes in the doctrine.
Yeah, like 1975. They had 1 foot on the gas pedal, 1 foot on the brake.
And what was supposed to happen in 1975?
The end of the world was supposed to happen.
Okay. And it didn't happen, obviously.
No, it didn't happen in 1975. It didn't happen in the 4 or 5 other dates that they predicted that it would happen either.
Okay. You said there's no looking in places that cause to question.
Yes.
So you're not allowed to look at anything that would question.
No. It's all labeled apostate material.
Okay. And that the organization has God's backing.
That's what they believe, yes. They believe they're God's organization, that the 7 men in New York, the governing body, are spirit-directed.
And you say that some of the kids that go through school are very intelligent, and they earn scholarships to elite colleges.
Yes.
And they applaud them giving up those scholarships.
Yes.
What's wrong with getting an education?
Well,
It's just not necessary?
they don't believe it's necessary because the end is coming.
I have gone to college, so I've had that education. I don't believe that it's absolutely necessary when you put Jesus' work first.
Okay.
And you say safeguard.
You're not being entirely truthful, because you know that if you wanted to go to college right now, if you want to go home and go to college, you know that you would get counsel first, and then if you avoided that, if you totally ran past that counsel, there would be more counsel, and then there might be some discipline in there as well. Not only that, the lawyers, the doctors, those are people who got their degrees before they became Jehovah's Witnesses. Rarely does anybody become a Jehovah's Witness and then go get a degree. It's almost always the other way around. Jehovah's Witnesses love to talk about, oh, we have lawyers, we have doctors, but they always fail to mention the order in which somebody got their education.
Now, again, she is correct. And what makes it worse is this is another one of those instances where the governing body has changed their stance on something. See, when I was a Jehovah's Witness, going to college was frowned upon. When I was young, you couldn't even go. So for this person to say, you know, yeah, I have a college degree, well, that's because you live in a time where they have changed